Hello there, and welcome to the Kirk Minahan wrap-up show for February 8th, 2021. Yesterday's show was called Middle America. And just right off the bat, if you're wondering why I'm doing this on a Tuesday and not a Monday, was that it was kind of a late drop yesterday. So I didn't want to, I do this show at like midnight, and then, I don't know, people seem to listen to it while they work. So I think 5 o'clock is a good time to drop it. But anyway, I am joined by one of the topics of today's show, John from Scranton, who there were a couple things said about you. Number one, obviously, you were taken off the Hall of Fame ballot list. You were no longer eligible. And I think the more exciting news was, even when you were on the Hall of Fame ballot, Kirk said if a single voter voted for you, he would one, end the show, and two, kill himself. So I don't know if there's a different
I was happy they tweeted it out early because I knew to watch live to see my live reaction on what they said. So I have me on footage saying I thought it was funny, man.
That's funny.
Listen, am I mad that I'm off the list? Dude, no. I don't belong on that list at all to begin with. But I'll tell you what, if Minifans get the opportunity to make the list, and Justin, I'll use you for a perfect example. I think 9 out of 10 times I'm going to be on the list. So if Kirk continuously wants to kick me off, that's fine. But I think we should handle it. Gentlemen, come to the table, work out a deal. So instead of having Bob Murchison on the list, I'll tell you that. Let's work out a deal.
What I think you should do is I think you should get in your DMs, send Kirk a nice DM, apologize, say how much it would mean to you to be on the ballot. Let him know that he's been such a big influence.
This would be a special year. This would be a special year if I got it.
Yes, yes. Say it means a lot to you emotionally, mentally, and physically. So anyway, so let's kind of start off with how the show started off with some Hall of Fame talk. They were talking. Oh no, I'm sorry. The show started off.
No, it started off with Gerry Callahan talk.
No, I believe the Jeep commercial was first.
Oh yeah. Well, they went over the rough and rowdy stuff too. They went over.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much to say about that. Jose Canseco's a bitch.
Yeah, that was awful.
I mean, I don't know. He's talking shit on Twitter. Fuck that guy. The best thing you can do is just not give him any attention.
Yeah. I said you were one of the best tweeters of the night for the rough and rowdy.
Oh, dude,
one of Barstool's best tweeters.
I love rough. I don't want to get too deep into it, but I was a Barstool Gold member, literally just for Rough and Rowdy. I remember watching. I was at Youngstown, so I went to see Gay Pat's fight. It was one of the best fucking experiences I've ever been at. I really think that if your first Rough and Rowdy was Friday, you really don't understand how much the crowd impacts. The crowd
the crowd is huge. Also, once you go to a live Rough and Rowdy, you see how much even cooler it is, dude. Going to a live one. I know they had one up by you guys in Providence, but they have them in West Virginia mostly. I went to the one in Youngstown, but they try to go all around the country. But going to a live is one of the best events I've ever been to. But
so he kind of touched on the Rough and Rowdy. He kind of touched on Barstool Survivor, which we'll get to in a little bit in regards to one Stephen R. Robinson. Yeah. But there was obviously, I don't know if you know, there was a game a couple days ago, football game, and I'm pretty sure the Patriots won. So
I said the Patriots get a ring for that. I mean, the Patriots get a ring for that.
Yeah. So anyway, I like how they didn't talk much about the game. They talked about a single commercial, a 2-minute commercial that everyone was tweeting at Kirk. When I first saw that, I was sitting down and I was like, I got to tweet out that Kirk just came in his pants because he saw Bruce in a Jeep. It was. I didn't even know that Bruce wasn't a commercial guy. I would have thought that he was in a whole shit ton of commercials, but I read somewhere today that he turned down $12 million in the 1980s from Chrysler because they wanted to use "Born in the USA," and he was like, "Nah, fuck off." So I mean, good for him, and Jeep must have thrown enough money at him, to finally.
I mean, everybody needs a buck every now and then, so I guess or maybe you just wanted to fucking do it.
Whatever. Man. I mean, so what I wanted to get to is I was so surprised when Blind Mike. I gasped when I heard Blind Mike say, he's only got a couple more years left. What, he got 15 max? And then Kirk just goes, Steve, why do we have this guy in? I was like, of all the things you could say to Kirk Minahan, why are you killing off Bruce Springsteen? You just shouldn't. You can't be doing that. I mean,
that was a good pickup. I didn't even notice that, Justin. I didn't even notice that. You're on your toes.
It was. I could totally see that just being a recurring bit, like Kirk just bringing that up every now and then. It's like, oh, you kill him off like you killed off fucking Bruce Springsteen.
You killed my fucking idol.
Yeah, I mean, Kirk has literally said, I don't know how much more you could admire someone. He said, he made me a better son to my father and a better father to my son, which is like so fucking deep.
I mean, death and suicide was taken very lightly this episode, as we know. I mean, Kirk said he would kill himself if I got a vote. So I mean,
yes,
at least we took this episode light. We didn't take it too seriously, you know.
No, it was good. So the premise of the Jeep commercials, Bruce Springsteen is driving around like somewhere in Kansas in the middle of America. It's supposed to be unifying. And apparently some people on the right were upset, or not upset. They was calling out Bruce for being a hypocrite, blah, 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 or something like that. I really don't give a fuck if you do a commercial or not. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so that kind of brings us to the Gerry. One of those people was Gerry Callahan, who I was going to tag in my promo tweet for this show, but he blocked me. So yes, I am not able to block him. I'm not able to tag. He blocked me about a year ago when the Kirk and Gerry shit started riling up, and I said, what did I say? I said Judas sold out Jesus for 30 pieces of silver, and Callahan sold out Kirk for $30 from the Athletic. It was during that whole saga, and so he just blocked me.
Justin, you're not usually like an attacker on Twitter, but when you do though, it's fucking, you like hit people to the core. I think you're like nasty.
Well, like I said, I normally get along with most people, and you know, I joke around and things like that. But sometimes I just get sick of it. And I'm just like, okay, If it's one of
the DJK episode was the best when you just went off on DJK. If it couldn't take his shit anymore.
If it's one of Kirk's enemies, I really get into it.
Yeah. But then what's the difference?
So Gerry Callahan, you know, he was calling out that Jeep commercial and Bruce Springsteen, all that. He was all upset, and he was on Adam Carolla's show, and he does a daily podcast. It's very big. I think it's called Podcast One.
You know what I thought was weird with that podcast? Like they went to breaks. Like they had breaks in it. I thought that was real weird.
Yes.
They were talking about how they came back from a break and they're like sports radio host Gerry Callahan.
Yes.
They talked about
so on the podcast, they were talking about Saturday Night Live. Because I don't know about you, I haven't watched Saturday Night Live in like 5 years.
My girlfriend's a super lib, and she watches it all the time, and it's just fucking awful. Like, everything she tries to show me.
Like I think a couple people on Saturday Night Live are funny, but I don't find it in this sketch. Like
I think like Michael Che's stand up is funny.
Yes, Michael Che's stand up. The Pete Davidson, he's very funny. So anyway, so Gerry Callahan must hate watch this program because I don't know why else he would watch it. It just seems to be the complete opposite of anything he finds funny and you know what he would watch. So they were talking about Saturday Night Live and why they're not picking on Joe Biden as much as they were picking on Donald Trump. And I think the answer to that is just, why do you think? like no shit. And he came up, he was like, here, I have a bit. What if, because Donald Trump had a button he would press on his desk that would have someone bring a Diet Coke, Donald Trump, big Diet Coke guy, and Joe Biden got that removed. But what if Hunter Biden's got into the Oval Office, hit the button, and he was like, I thought they were bringing me cocaine.
Now, I know you didn't bring me on the episode just for the Hall of Fame talk. This joke also had something to do with it. So
I didn't even realize that. Oh, there you go.
I love this joke. I thought it was so fun. I cracked up when Kirk said it, and Kirk said he hated it. I was like, that was one of the funniest jokes.
I think it's one of the fact that Gerry thought it was funny made it so funny to me. I don't like, is that and the skit ends with just two people staring there, and you know, Hunter Biden's like, I need cocaine, you know. So
I mean, I don't know. I would like that. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah. So
if it ended there,
I don't know.
No, I think Kirk kind of went off on Gerry today because a bunch of people were talking about him being on Carolla, and I think like Kirk wishes there was more Gerry doing stuff like that so he could use more sound of Gerry, because I just think Steve is so sick of listening to that podcast.
I don't necessarily think that, but I do there was one point when they were talking about Murchison and Gerry said like, well,
did you listen to the whole thing? Like, did you listen to Gerry?
No, okay. I did not.
Okay.
He was like, well, what could I do? Like, what could I have done? And I think maybe that might have gotten under Kirk's skin a little, because he's like, well, you could have kicked and fought with me on the way out of the door instead of just, saying you went to meetings and continuing on doing your show. So I think that might have rubbed Kirk the wrong way. I know it would have rubbed me the wrong way. In regards to that.
Kirk's like that though. If Kirk is going down with the ship, he doesn't want just the captain to go down. He wants the whole fucking boat to go down with the ship. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what we love about him. But that's the way it is.
Let me say, if Kirk wants the ship to go down, I'm the one who's poking holes.
You're swimming underneath.
No, I'm poking holes in the bottom, trying to, I'll fucking do anything. So that, I don't know. It's always funny to hear Gerry.
I love Kirk and Gerry interaction. Like, I love whenever Kirk I know Kirk tries to keep it at a minimum, and maybe that's why I do like it. Like, you know what I mean? It's not constantly talked about. It's same stuff with the Minifans. Like, Kirk, I think, is in this 3 shows a week, perfect balance right now.
Yep.
And it's like pumping out good show content and good stuff from the Minifans and good stuff from everybody. But like, I love when like Kirk is either going after Gerry, going after Callahan, going after any of them. You know what I mean? I just love it. It's just like I come from a show that fucking just battles you know what I mean? I just like fights. I like the money.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I mean, I'm not a fan of Callahan. I know I never listened to KMC, so I don't really give a.
My girlfriend thinks he's the most racist fucking guy, dude. Like, if he comes on after Kirk, like, my autoplay will just hit, and she's like, she kind of knows who Kirk is. Like, she was at Sacco and everything, but she doesn't listen to him. So like, distincting the voices, she knows when it's Gerry talking or it's fucking Kirk talking. She's like, yo, turn this shit off. Like,
I just love the Callahan drops when it's Nazi stuff, or I was in the clubhouse raping little boys. Just
people were tweeting today that they can't read stuff like, or they were asking Kirk if he can read the word what's the word he says? Munchkins. And what's the other word he says? Great. Or is that great or another Gerry word?
I'm not entirely sure.
I forget what it is, but they were asking, can you read that word without saying it in Jerry's voice? And Kirk was like,
yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. It's always funny when Kirk, picks on his old partner, and I like that.
I like it. I like that Callahan's back involved in everything too. It seems like they're in a good spot. So
yeah.
That'll only implode on itself.
So. I was going to say, well, let's talk in 6 months.
Exactly.
And see about that. So let's finally get to the part involving you with the Hall of Fame ballot. I believe you were on the Hall of Fame ballot for probably like 67 hours.
Yeah, it was longer than I expected. Like, I knew immediately Kirk tweeted out, I think he was already asleep by the time the ballot came out. So he tweeted out the next day that like he was going to leave the ballot blank. Yeah. Like, when I heard I was on the ballot, I DM'd the kids. I'm like, once I was on there, I was like, you just completely ruined the validity of your ballot. And then second of all, I saw intern Will slide on there, and I was just like, what did you guys want to just make like a Justin investigation out of this and just get it thrown in the trash right away, or what?
Yeah.
But listen, I know I'm not going to be on. I know Kirk just doesn't like me, man. It's whatever. I'm not like going to beg for Kirk's forgiveness. I'm a guy who would just keep rolling.
Yeah, so he replaced you with one Bob Murchison, who I mean, I think is a super fan of the show. I mean, good for him. I mean, it must be a high
thing is seeing all the Minifans say that they think Bob should be on the ballot because they hate me. So
I think it'd be funny if he got inducted just because they would go up his ass sideways to have like a little ceremony in Madawaska where they're
maybe something funny here today. Like I said at the beginning of the show, I'm willing to listen. Like I said, if this continues every year and the Minifans get a vote who's on there, Kirk's just gonna have to kick me off every year. Let's come to a fucking decision. Let's get 2 people you want in there. Maybe I'll take a lifetime ban. I'll take Kevin from Bristol's lifetime ban away from him. How about that? But I want to come to the table and do a deal. Well, I don't want Bob on the. I can call me a really good Minifan, but I don't want Bob on the ballot. I'm sorry.
Okay, I understand that, but also there's no.
Kirk could do whatever he wants.
Yeah, there's no negotiation.
Yeah, I know. That's. I'm trying to come in strong here, Justin. That's my demand. That's my fucking demand.
Yeah, let's not get a little too crazy here.
I'm already off the ballot. Where else can I go, Justin?
You can go much slower.
I could get banned like Will. Yeah. Like Will is, but he's still.
Let's see who. Let's talk about someone who is lower right now, Kevin from. Who was banned permanently. I had no idea what this was about when I saw the tweet. I thought it was from that video he put out where he was like apologizing and stuff like that. I was like, like that's kind of what Kevin does.
Yeah.
But then when Kirk read that text message, I was
DM'd
like,
him immediately. I DM'd not Kirk. I would never do that. I DM'd Kevin immediately. I was like,
like, what the fuck are you thinking? It's like, I get it in a sense, but also like, I never reach out.
It takes a lot of balls to fucking. Like that was the rule we were taught from the beginning by Will, I guess, that like you don't even tag Kirk in a tweet, man. You don't even fucking. When I tweet to Kirk, I just write Kirk out. I don't even add him. I just fucking write his name out. I'm sure he sees it anyways.
I think if it was a tweet, it would have been taken with a lot less scrutiny because I don't know, maybe Kirk would have thought, oh, he's doing this as kind of like a publicity thing, it would mean a lot. Like, let's, create some hype around this or whatever. But the fact that he messaged him, it was like, oh my God, maybe we all are just fucking insane,
Mm-hmm.
and this is all just one big, pipe dream, because I was like, oh, just dude, I was literally cringing in my seat listening to this.
Like, Kevin's on my trivia team. Like I have Kevin on my trivia team, but like it's just not something I would do. I call it OG-itis. Like those OGs like love Kirk to the point where like, I don't know, they just approach things differently than I. So I see it like, why would you ever do that? But like, maybe, I mean, I know Kevin from the bottom of his heart probably meant the best, but it was literally, I said it makes KMS fans look like murderers. Like Kirk thinks we're murderers now.
Yeah. So, which I mean, there probably are some among us.
Definitely. I mean,
just the numbers alone.
Yeah.
But I see. I also, what I took away from that is that's kind of a very, very cocky move by Kevin from Bristol, because as one of the voters,
yes,
I respect Kevin from Bristol. I would give it thought. I'm not like 100% in on voting. If he was on the ballot on voting Kevin from Bristol, that's a very, very cocky move to be like, I would like to get him with this class.
Well, I mean, he would.
I'm not too sure about that.
You wouldn't vote him? Like all this stuff that has occurred.
Correct. I don't know. I mean, you got to take a look at the other people.
Have you thought about who you're voting for? Like you have your votes? Okay.
I have. I'm definite on 2 and I'm iffy on 1. But so we only have 3 votes.
You vote Carano, I'll fucking kill you.
So I think it's very, very cocky to just assume that it's going to be Steve from Providence, Tim and Canton, and Kevin from Bristol. That's listen, Kevin from Bristol, you're good, but I mean, you're not Jeter, you're not you're not Babe Ruth.
You just compared Kevin to 2 people who I was compared to on Friday. You know that?
Oh,
by the KMS rundown, I was like, don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just like
I think Tim from Canton, I think, is the most guaranteed lock. I think he's like the nicest guy out there. He provides a lot for the show. His call yesterday was a perfect example. He doesn't overstep. When he got his pee-pee slapped, which is like a good min-cell quality. When we get our pee-pee slapped, we don't run away. We don't fucking flitter to the wind. Like we stay here and we're still fans. Like he has that. He's not like DEC, who we'll talk about later, but like
we'll talk about him in a minute.
He's a lock. I think Tim is the only lock right now.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm not entirely sure. I don't think there's any locks. I think it's going to be a very interesting. Yeah, we're only allowed to vote for 3 people.
Who do you think Kirk's wild card was? I said Warden.
I have no idea.
You don't know? You don't think you know?
I just don't think it's Blob, if we're being honest. I mean,
I love how they describe Blob today. He threatened one trying to blow up the Wilbur. Actually, he actually threatened a couple of Minifans on this list.
Yeah, and it's just like, I love Blob. When I saw that list, I was like, I don't know.
I like Blob. Blob hates Phil. Blob fought with Phil. Blob fights with us nonstop. I met Blob at Saco. It was fucking hilarious.
It was it was funny to see him on the list. So I have no idea who his wild card could be. I'm sure he's going to drop more hints. The ballot isn't due for like another
you guys have till May, right?
3.5 months. So
you guys got a lot of fucking time to talk about.
Yeah. So I mean, 2.5 months.
I said they shouldn't have released the ballots until Sheldon comes into studio, and he should have had an envelope with the ballots in it.
Oh well, let's hope Sheldon never makes it into studio. Just between us two, let's pray that day never.
How do you think those guys did?
They did fine. I mean, there were a couple names thrown out there where I was like, "What the fuck? Why? Like this person was on your list?"
They should have even added min-cells, like people like me. Should they?
Yes.
Or shouldn't have waited. You do?
Yes, John. I mean, like I said, you were on
Well,
my
I know
list.
you added,
I would
but,
not
like,
have voted for
as a
you.
waste. Yeah, but did you think beforehand you think Kirk was going to throw it off of me? I mean, you just think he thought he wouldn't vote for it, basically.
Yeah, I mean,
allowed.
I have no idea how anyone else is thinking. I just can only speak for myself, and I'm actually going to.
You can make that list. You can make that list real chalk easily. You know what I mean? They could have made it all chalk.
So, yeah, I mean, it's a tough job, but let's get to like we said, let's get to a certain person who was kept off this list, and I guess you could say certain two people who were kept off this list.
MHB, I was gonna make my name MHB fucking joke like you made DEC as your Twitter name. Fuck. MHB got in there too. He said he deserved it. That was just classic MHB just saying he's the best, and I kind of like.
When there was talk about the Hall of Fame last week, MHB had a tweet where it was like, me and Kirk, we're going to do a true crime podcast. This is where he got the idea from it. I forget what it was called. It was called like Crime Alley or something like that. But it has nothing to do with. I'm assuming they weren't planning on going down to South Carolina.
That's like saying like somebody offered somebody a Coke one day, and that like that guy then invented Sprite. Like that has nothing to do with anything. MHB.
Yeah, it's just like okay. And then DEC tweeted like, "Oh well, so like, who do you think got the idea for this?" It's like, dude, you left. Shut the fuck up. Do your stupid podcast that no one listens to. I'm John. Someone told me you were a guest. That's great.
Episode I was on, but
I mean, I don't. No one gives a fuck. Yeah. No one gives a fuck about this guy.
I did it because I like to help people, and you know what I mean. And I have a story in that stuff, which apparently everyone did not think was right to do, but whatever. And I did it just to help him. But like, here's what my problem with it was: like, he did the mistake a lot of dummies do, a lot of like stupid people do, and think that they can leave this world permanently. And like we all.
Oh, he never thought that.
Oh, you don't think? I think
he said he was going to leave permanently, but you know, the next week he was tweeting at Blind Mike. Oh, congratulations! You know, he's doing all these different things, and if you go through his timeline, 80% of his tweets have to do with the Kirk Minahan show, and then another 20% is just him just posting that his episode's up, and it has no likes, no retweets, no replies. No one gives a fuck about it. So he's just trying to get buzz for his little stupid podcast that no one cares about. So, I mean, I respect the hustle. I guess you could kind of say he's the Jose Canseco of the Kirk Minahan show world. He's just, you know, a giant pussy who everyone wants to leave, said he's going to leave, and is still trying to draw attention and drama to himself. So I think the best thing to do is just ignore him. I mean, he's just fucking.
That's really what I did with that whole thing, other than the fact that I was watching every second of it and loved it. I didn't engage because like I consider DEC like a fallen fucking foe kind of for us. Like, I mean, all we've done with DEC is battle. You don't need to preach to me about that fucking guy. You know what I mean? I like DEC, but he is out of the world. And like I said, I think
there is no DEC. You're talking about
Matt J.
Matt J. I mean,
I think he thinks he could kill that character, and we all know that like you can't quit this podcast. It's just a fucking poison, like not poison, it's virus in us. Like,
or you can. I mean, there are examples. Like, look at Matt from Providence. I don't know if he still listens. He very well might. He was in Saco. He had a great time, but he's not as interactive, which is perfectly fine. Like, do that. Like, that's perfectly fine. But don't say I'm coming back and then every once in a while, you know,
jump in the mud. Like, you can't. That's what I have a problem with. Like, you can't just like say you quit the world and then of all things jump in the mud. Like jump in a Twitter war. Like, I hate that shit. Like,
yeah,
okay, if you're gone, you can't come in with the fucking hyenas. Then, man, we're just gonna fucking eat you to shreds, bro. You know, like so. That's what I have a problem with. It's just bad judgment to me.
Yeah,
I have
a
problem with the guy personally. It's just
so when I saw Kirk tweet that, I was like, "Fuck it." I think it was it Friday or Saturday when he tweeted that? I was at the gym. I think it was Saturday, and no, it was Friday. And I saw Kirk retweeted that and said that. So I was like, "Fuck it." You know what? I'm going all in right now. So I just started. You know, I clapped back at Matt J.
Everyone was fucking talking about it everywhere too. That's good. Like, fuck, and it's just. I mean, like, at least you made content out of it. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, the guy's a fucking moron, and you should just, you know,
I love your Twitter name now.
I'm gonna change that.
Fucking best.
Yeah. I'm a change it back soon. So that's all I have to say. And I don't know much about MHB, but it's like, dude, like,
well, I tried to text MHB the other day, I swear, because like I texted him throughout like the whole time, and he was like in the world and everything, and like I was just like, hey, just checking in on you, buddy. Want to make sure everything was good.
Yep.
Literally like 2 months when I was like really involved in the world was he around, and he didn't even answer the text. So like, whatever, dude, it's cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's
whatever.
fine. Like, I mean, but like, dude, don't try to say you invented true crime podcast.
Yeah,
like, that is fucking insane. That's like if Barstool like, oh, like it's just
it seems like a situation where him and Kirk talked about how Kirk should do a true crime podcast, and then Kirk went and did one, and MHB is saying I thought of it. It's just like,
yeah, it's just like
reaching, dude.
And I'm sure maybe at one point they were like, oh, what if we did a true crime podcast? Yep. And to MHB, that's like, oh, it's definite. First of all, I would not. I love Kirk. I don't know if I would be able to listen to MHB and Kirk Minahan do a true crime podcast, because it would just be MHB trying to one up Kirk while doing this fake terrible impression. So that's
the best was MHB getting railed by Portnoy. That was the best fucking thing ever.
So yeah. So I mean that's kind of all I have to say about those two. They did take some calls today, and
dude. That was the best call ever, right?
That was one of the
funniest calls ever.
That was one of the funniest calls ever. I don't know what to say. I just don't know what to say about it. It was so funny. It was scripted, but not scripted. It was like he had a
character. It was good acting. It was just good acting.
It was incredible.
He had the whole character down. Like he was just saying, he's like Italian bitches.
It was great. It was the fun. Like, please call back.
I said he could it before it was official. I was off the ballot. I said he could have my ballot spot.
Yeah. I was like, please take your spot. I mean, please take your time. You know, don't try to rush it out, and because sometimes
come back with something good. Come back with
hit with that sophomore slump. You know, take a week or two, figure out some things.
Yeah,
and call back. It was what was his name?
It's an actor. What's his name? Fuck.
Mo.
No, I can't think of it right now.
But it was
one of the funniest calls I've heard to date.
Yes. So
there was no break in Kirk. There was no break in the caller. Like it was just straight through. It was fucking aces.
Oh, it was the best. It was the best of like when the callers like attack Mike, and he's not like. It's funny when like it's not as funny when like Mike expects it. When it's like, oh, Mike, it's your grandmother. I'm dying of cancer.
Yeah.
But like, who would say like, oh, that Italian girl you got sitting next to you? The biggest dumpster I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was just every line fucking hit, dude. Every line fucking hit.
It truly was incredible. So
it was good. I've been enjoying the show. Like I love the Hall of Fame talk, even though I'm just getting fucking straight dragged through the gutter for it. I love it. I don't care. It's good.
Yeah, no, the show's
dude.
Show's been awesome so far. I mean, it's always awesome, but it's been awesome so far in February. I believe they are recording tonight. I don't want to say for sure, but I believe.
Are they having Robinson?
Normally they would have him on Thursdays.
Last week he was coming in Wednesday.
Oh, maybe I'm not entirely sure. They were supposed to have him because you know how they taped last week. They taped Friday show on Wednesday night.
Oh yeah.
That's what they were going to do.
You like that? I hated it. Well, I didn't hate the show. I just didn't like how I don't like that because then it's just like I don't know.
I didn't mind it. I thought it was a lot looser, and it was like a good contrast to the show earlier.
A lot of people were bitching about 3 days of Blind Mike in a row. I was just like, you guys used to do 5 days of Blind Mike in a row, back to back. I think Mike's been doing good. I mean,
yeah,
I'm happy. I'm
so,
happy or whatever.
So that's pretty much. Anything else you want to bring up from today's show, John?
No, like I said, I have no rights to make demands, obviously.
But you did make a couple, which is kind of.
I made my demands, so I'm.
Oh shit! Well, so if you're listening, please subscribe. Please give it 5 stars. You know, thumbs up, whatever you're doing right now, and I will talk to you guys on tomorrow on Wednesday.
Yeah, there you go.